Am I jumping the gun? Absolutely. Hey everyone, Calypso here. Welcome back, my fellow Legionnaires. I've been away for quite some time with my Legacy of Kain content. If you guys are interested in any of that, I have a playlist right here. My most recent video was like a little mini movie on Raziel. Anyways, it is October, and that means the Legacy of Kain, or rather Soul Reaver, The Dead Shall Rise, Legacy of Kain, The Dead Shall Rise, the prequel comic that was kickstarted earlier this year, last year, is coming out for digital backers. If you ordered this thing physically and you got all the physical goodness and wonderfulness, that should be showing up in your mailbox at some point next year, possibly very late December. I'm sure we'll get an update on that soon. However, if you are a digital backer like myself, because you have no physical space anymore, then they are coming in the mid to end October. So that means like next week, in the next couple of weeks, or at the very end, possibly on Halloween. I think that'd be really cool. However, I'm holding my reservations here, but it doesn't look like it's gonna seem that wonderful, sad to say. Now, again, I'm basing this purely off of a couple of preview screenshot images, which I do love the art. I think the art is great. I like that cartoony, sort of almost anime art style they're going with. I think that's nice. Very much echoes the original comics we got back in the day with the Defiance comic and the Soul Reaver comic. No complaints on the art front there. However, the writing is a little bit concerning to me. First off, this is not written by Amy, Daniel Kabuko, or Dennis Dyack. As much as I would love that trio to come together and write the follow-up to Legacy of Kain or something comic-wise, which it'll never happen, sadly, but I would like that. This is being written by self-proclaimed fans of the series like myself. If I actually got a comic, wrote it about my favorite series, Legacy of Kain, and then published it. Glorified fan fiction almost. However, it is official. This is sort of canon at this point. It's being backed by Crystal Dynamics and Embracer Group, whoever the fuck owns them now. So this is official. Fans have gotten their official way with a sort of prequel, sequel, reboot, possibly leading to something else in the future comic. Again, I'm holding my reservations completely. This is going off of like 2 or 3 panels. We first have this panel here showing the new character, which I believe Daniel Kabuko drew and consulted on, so that's cool at least. However, the writing here with him being a sort of, spoiler alert, half human, half Hilden hybrid is just weird and wrong to me. It just doesn't fit in my brain at this point. They do explain it away or sort of find a way to make it work, but it just doesn't work to me. We also have this shot here of the new character, Alalith, who very clearly looks to be Kain's daughter, talking to Raziel, his favorite son. And even though visually she very clearly looks like Kain, you have Raziel questioning, "Who are you?" Like, this guy can't put 2 and 2 together that this could possibly be one of Kain's bastard daughters. Or in another weird thing, maybe an ancient Hilden hybrid. I guess that's what they're going for. She does have angel wings like Janos in this image here for a song that Cell Dweller and Matt Heafy of Trivium have written together for the sort of complimentary album that this is going to be along with. It's going to be one of those mediums where you listen to the music and you start it and then you read the comic and you have a visual audio experience. Cool. I do love that kind of stuff. However, the rest of the soundtrack does sound interesting from what we've gotten from Cell Dweller so far. It sounds very Kurt Harland, Jim Hedges inspired, which is a good thing. So as far as the writing goes, I'm not super excited about it. Just from a couple of these pages, again, I'm jumping the gun, I'm holding my reservations. It doesn't read too great. I do love the art though, so we shall see towards the ending or middle of October whenever this does come out. I will be having a review of it, of course. Here are those panels that I should have been showing throughout the whole video again. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is actually interesting, good? How do you feel about the art? How do you feel about the writing? I, again, am on the fence at this point, sort of leaning towards the not so great side of the fence, but we shall see. I do think, however, the positive of this whole thing is that it's more Legacy of Kain. I do like the art. Like, I think I'll never shut up about that. I think the art's nice. It's more Legacy of Kain. It's more Soul Reaver. It's more Kain will show up. It's more something leading towards the future, which is always a good thing. Even if this comic does end up sucking and being like the most worst written comic on the planet compared to the Soul Reaver comic that we got back in the day and the Defiance comic, which were fine, nothing stellar, but fine, then it is what it is. But at least it's more Legacy of Kain, which is a positive. We also did get part of the Zephon panel, which sort of what I speculated a little bit in my other videos is that it's going to be like the origin story of Zephon, and then possibly the ending of it is going to be his battle with Raziel, but we see his growth from deformed monster to final boss, from his origins of just spider, sneak thief, spy master, or something. I do hope they release the rest of the brothers and do a whole series. However, once again, I will trust the community on this, is that these will be up digitally on the Legacy of Kain wiki in no time, or at least in an internet archive possibly. There is a Melchiah comic that you could only get by pre-ordering and getting the limited run special deluxe edition, which I talk about in my playlist videos. You can find it somewhere. I'll probably put it up right here. But that's it. I can't get that comic anymore because I didn't get that physical edition. However, the community always comes through, and these things always do show up online in pretty damn good quality. If anything, I will absolutely be putting all this stuff online, throwing it on the wiki, throwing a file down somewhere digitally, so you guys can all enjoy it as well, just in case you've missed out on any of this stuff. I do also hope they release it physically, regularly on shelves, that you can go to a comic store or go to, Comixology or whatever and buy it digitally and buy it physically. Something. I really hate when Kickstarter things are locked behind a paywall forever, and once it's gone, it's gone. I think that's really, really dumb. I think Kickstarter things should be relegated to you get a discount price for getting it, and you get some bonus goodies like all the physical stuff that you want, but then later on down the line, it should be released physically or digitally for everybody else to enjoy, rather than having to rely on hunting it down on the internet. But that's just my own thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about this comic so far? Again, I obviously can't review it yet because it's not out yet. I am having my sort of negative thoughts seep into this just because the writing doesn't seem that great. But again, nobody's really Amy Hennig, nobody's really Dennis Dyack, nobody's really Daniel Kabuko, Seth Karras. Nobody can really measure up to those writers today, in my own opinion. And if they do, then they're damn good writers, and hats off to you. Like I said, this is just a very fresh look from 2 pages. Can't really judge anything off of that yet, but I do hope it's really good. And I really want to know your guys' thoughts as a hardcore Legacy of Kain fan myself, and as well as the community of Legacy of Kain fans. I think it's really interesting that we're getting all this stuff so soon, so quickly, and the fact that Legacy of Kain is back in a sense. Really hope we get remasters for Blood Omen 2 and Defiance soon. I know that they're on PlayStation stores now digitally and everything that you guys can play again, but bring them to PC, give them the sort of cartoony Defiance style box art style like they did for Soul Reaver 1 and 2. Please, 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 seriously, make it happen. Begging. I've been Calypso, now I'm signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Vae Victis.